Hi, I'm Dominic. Thanks for watching Dominic's Woodworks and welcome to another no-edit shop talk. I'm trying to go for the weekly vibe, so here I am again. Today I want to give you kind of a shop tour, or rather a shop overview, and let me talk a little more. Well, I did a shop tour, a more comprehensive one, or I should say I recorded a more comprehensive shop tour in January. And it was about 2 hours of video material, which is to say 1 hour per language, and it went into pretty much every detail there was. Not every detail, but looking back I'd say far too many. So I started recording another shop tour, a no-edit one this time, a few days back, but I got interrupted, and I think that's a good thing because the idea simmered a little more. And last time I did a shop tour and published it, I think afterwards I said that this was the best opportunity or the best way I found to come up with shop improvements. And yes, doing a shop tour I found a lot of spots in my shop that I would consider flawed. Not terribly flawed, but flawed enough to justify doing something about them. So in the near future, you'll get a number of projects geared to that goal. I have some spots that I want to take care of or make something better for it. For example, the tool wall behind me, these cleats, they're nice, they're versatile, but they don't make good use of the space as far as the depth is concerned. And with the workbench here, I don't really need, say, the space from here to here. There's air, obviously. So what I want to make is a kind of a wall-hanging tool chest. I know there are many out there, but I try to use up some of my floorboards, and I have some ideas how to do it. So that'll probably be a project video, although not a very creative one, I imagine. But well, it has to be done. That's one idea I have. Another is for my lumber cart, which I built Steve Ramsey style, and the problem is I don't have too many sheet goods. I'm more a slat kind of guy, and if I use boards, they're pallet boards, or at the most this wide and way higher than they are wide. So this kind of storage isn't really, I think it's not what I need, so I'll probably revise that. I don't know how yet, but that's another point I want to work on. And as promised, I'll give you a quick overview of my shop, which will also serve as a state of the shop, because it's in a pretty much of a state. You can probably glimpse some of the projects I'm working on, but well, that can't be helped. So let's get going. I'll just take you around clockwise. Like I said, my wall of tools, which can steadily be improved and will be, I already said that. This board is very important because when I lean against it I don't have this piece making a nasty dent in my kidneys. Underneath there's lots of unsorted storage stuff, and there's my plane drawer, which also needs some revising. I hope to take some of the planes, or at least the spoke shaves and the block plane, to whatever solution I come up with for here. And I also want to take some time at some point to fine tune these, or to actually tune these heirlooms. So we'll see about that. There is what I call my Tower of Chaos in a state of half disassembly. I want to use the bottom box, which is filled with, surplus electronic scrap or other, it's scrap. I want to use that as a base for my planer, which, yes, you guessed it, serves as a workbench, which is probably a bad thing to do. And it's standing on the box that I made in my last shop toury thing, which was actually meant to be half burn box, half trash can. Somewhere underneath all that wood there is a wooden bucket now. scratch that, I mean a plastic bucket which I use for a burn box, and I decided to keep this trash bag holder around until I can make a nicer one. There's my router table and the cupboard underneath holding the handheld router and jigs and other stuff. Nothing too fancy. Up above there's my sled collection. These are scraps, or what I consider scraps, so you see what I mean when I say I need a lumber cart geared a little more towards these pieces. There are a small board collection, exotic lumber with the floorboard box. Here on these shelving holders I have from top to bottom my router table sled, the Howling style mini bench, a hand operated miter saw, and the one with the pipe clamps I mean, is the J. Bates style Moxon vise, which as you can see hardly gets used because it's pretty heavy and pretty impossible to get out of there. Then there's the aforementioned lumber cart, Steve Ramsey style, although not made from boards but sleds, on an old tabletop which was probably made of melamine, which you can't see because there's a lot of lumber and other stuff stacked against it. And here we have my miter saw. I took it off the drawer that I made. Don't know what I'll do with that yet. And thanks to Adam Churchill, one of my viewers, for the idea to simply put it on a cleat and hang it on the wall. Well, quite frankly, I don't use it that much because you could argue that having it out of the way forces me to use the table saw for most operations, but it's not that far out of the way that I can't use it when I need it. Then there's a heavy-duty rack, basically. From bottom to top we have scrap, colors and scrap, surface finish stuff and scrap, and, well, scrap of several varieties. There's my safety board, which I'm not too happy with because it still uses this one clamp, so I probably need to screw it down at some point. My bandsaw and lots of more stuff. There's a bench underneath, believe it or not. And there's my power tool wall. I'm actually pretty happy with this. I recently made this holder for my angle grinder, the new one. I have to take the random orbital sander out to take the grinder out, but I can live with that. And I'm still not certain what to put here. Of course the router would work well, but it already has a place underneath the router table. So I'm thinking circular saw, well, that's it. I'm thinking circular saw at some point. And there is my sandpaper cleaning bottle. Next we have the drill press with the drill bit holder hood on top. And here are the small drawer thingies for bits and pieces, which actually work out quite nicely since I last sorted them. I don't use everything that's in there, but if I need something I can get to it. There in this little, mainly blocked cupboard, there's my circular saw. There's also a cloth iron in it in case I need to remove some dimps in wood. Yeah, where else? Oh, and in this workbench there's lots of stuff in it, but most of it I don't use, so it's probably something I can sort through at some point if I can get all the drawers to open. This big pot was initially meant as a part of a double boiler setup for melting wax. It proved slightly too big for that unless I want to clean a large batch of it, so I want to give it a go for some wood steaming at some point in the future. Then next to this there is several boards filled with, well, stuff. There's no better way to put it. Here's a little bit of my table saw equipment. Oh, did I mention there's plywood scraps to the left and 2 boxes of, yes, stuff. Oh, there's my first aid kit, hung in a way that hitting it at the wrong angle causes it to trip down, which is kinda intentional, and I need to remove the cobwebs at some point. There's the spray can holder that also serves to redirect air from the heater up and into the workshop. I didn't really take any measurements, but I think it's working, at least I can make believe. There's more stuff and some wax for candle making, which I want to do more of at some point. That's a cupboard I made from slats and the reclaimed floorboards for gardening stuff, pots, fertilizer and such. And yes, it's always a little hard to open. And there we have more of these small tools that I want to put here, but I still haven't gotten around to that yet. Hey look, it's an end grain birdhouse. Hey. There's a board of OSB which I had great plans for, but right now it's too cold to go outside and cut it up, but this will happen. And there's more miscellaneous stuff. Scales and rings for chainmail and scale mail respectively, and don't ask me why. Lots of gloves. Look, a door. Explains how I got in here. And a clock, which didn't work the last time I recorded this not talk, what's the word? Tour, right, shop tour. Hail the no-edit approach. There's the drawer from underneath my miter saw and some other stuff I need to put away. Then there's an old desk that serves as basically a desk. It houses my computer where I can watch videos and procrastinate. Also some tools strewn all over there, and underneath that, you might recognize it by the pots on it, there's my induction plate used to, well, heat things up. Then there's the actual computer behind here, and that used to be the box that my table saw came in. I finally decided that I wouldn't use it and that it was taking up space, but now I'm pondering whether to just throw it out altogether or cut off the sides where there are nails in it and keep the rest. It's not really good plywood, I'd say, but well, it's wood. On top here we have two shelves, also stuffed with stuff. There are some construction adhesives, there's latex, probably all cured by now, acrylic paints, other kinds of paints, craft stuff, and 600 meters of wick. I think it's wick. The thing in the center of candles, anyway. And there are my clamps. There are also the clamps that Pyre Clamps sent me. I still need to make a proper holder for them, which is still coming up. And if you're wondering, these hoses, they're used to transport wood pellets for the central heating, which means that basically a big, what's the word? Oh, I sorely want to edit this. A big vacuum cleaner, or well, a vacuum whatever, sucks them through one tube over there and into the house. It's not the best thing to have on that wall because it mainly blocks the space except for the clamps, but who am I to argue with a warm room at night? And that's it. That's my shop, and you've probably seen that it's in quite a state. Oh, I forgot one thing. Let me just tilt you. That behind these boards is my table saw, and the reason that these boards are standing there, well, funny story now that you mention it. Well, not that funny, but something I wanted to mention too. That yeah, actually I had this kind of a speech set up about my dream shop and me keeping, or well, I used to think about how my dream shop would look, and I used to wonder why Matt Cremona is working there. So I got that line in anyway. But the thing is, I realized this is my shop, so it's gonna be my dream shop. The The only problem is that I'm not trimming it right, which led me to the idea of making shop improvements. And one of the things that I'm doing wrong, or that I think I'm doing wrong, or that messes up my workflow, is this tendency I have. I have an idea for a project in my book of ideas, which you probably saw in passing. If not, then I put a link here. It's shameless self-plug. Anyway, I have an idea to do this, and for this I need that scrap material. Then I will take this material and put it on my workbench, or like these boards, somewhere in the way. I will use these boards today, or I hope that I can still get to use them today, so that won't be a problem, but this is how I clutter up my workbench, taking stuff and putting it there so it's ready if I decide to start another project, which I probably won't for another few weeks. So that's something I have to work on, and no chick in the world can help me with that. So the video time is running out. I hope you enjoyed this video despite the length. I didn't mean to make it that long, but so I needed to edit this because I think I just reached the 4 GB file size limit on the camera. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm sorry the video and I'm doing it again. Sorry the video was as long as it was. I hope you found it informative. If you have any questions about any part of my shop or my setup, then just shoot or leave them in the comments. It's the more people. I'm botching every line today, am I? Anyway, thanks for watching, and remember to be inspired. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Also, I recently crossed 1,700 subscribers on YouTube, so a big thank you to all of my viewers, to everyone who watched this, and, well, share this. Thank you with your friends and their friends, and your enemies and their enemies, which brings us back to your friends anyway. Thanks for watching, and I really appreciate that you join me on my little adventures, if you can call it that, and, well, I hope to inspire you. Thanks for watching, and remember to be inspired.